Hi, my name is Manisha Patel, and I'm a second-year fellow at Novartis in Drug Regulatory Affairs, and I am an alumni of Georgia Tech and the University of Georgia. So from where I'm standing, I can see about 250 of you who are here today because you're interested in drug development. So can I get a show of hands of how many of you feel like you understand what regulatory affairs does? Is it compliance? Is it submissions? What is it? What do we do on a day-to-day basis? Okay, I don't see many hands, and that's okay because regulatory affairs is very challenging to define or conceptualize in terms of what we do, and that's because it involves such a large scope of different activities, and these activities are in areas such as development and discovery, also manufacturing, approval, promotion, and so forth. So what the job of the regulatory affairs professional is to identify what pieces of information the health authority needs in order to assess the safety and efficacy of a drug. Now that, I think, is the easy part. The hard part is when the health authority isn't exactly sure what information they need. And this happens because companies are innovative, right? They're looking at new disease areas, they're looking at new novel mechanism of actions, different biomarkers, and so forth, and there's not often experience in that development program. So the health authorities are oftentimes in the same boat as the companies, and in these cases, the companies sit down with the health authorities in meetings and discuss what endpoints do we have, what types of aspects do you need to design your clinical trials based on so that you can generate the information that you need to evaluate the safety and efficacy. Now, when I was in pharmacy school, I thought that a company did all this research, tied it up in a ribbon, and handed it to a health authority, and the health authority would say yes or no. And this is not the case. The health authority and the company are actually collaborative. They have a partnership in the sense that they interact from day one to the very end of development in terms of discussing different aspects of the program, safety issues that come up, and so forth. So there are certain times in the development where the interactions with the health authority are more frequent. So for example, at this time that a company will file an IND, and this is when the regulatory professional will lead the discussion with the health authority in terms of all the preclinical data that the company has generated from animal studies and so forth that's necessary to see if it's okay to take this medication into humans for clinical trials. Then, after the phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials are done, the regulatory professional will lead the team in discussions with the health authority in determining how should we design our phase 3 program. So a company is going to spend millions and millions of dollars in this phase 3 program, and they want to make sure that they've designed it in such a way that in 2 or 3 years, the FDA or the EMA or the PMDA in Japan is going to say, okay, we have the information we need to evaluate it and see if your drug is safe and effective. So that's why we sit down with the health authority at that point to really see that we're on the same page as them. Then again, you'll see interactions at the time of filing, which is the NDA, that's the new drug application. And that's where you take all of the data that you have and you submit it to the health authority. And then the regulatory professional's job doesn't end at the time that you submit a new drug application. So your job still continues even after a drug is approved in many different activities, whether your drug has post-marketing commitments, whether you're involved in the promotional review, and so forth. Excuse me. So what I like about regulatory affairs is that you really do interact with so many different members of the drug development team. And this depends on, again, where you are in development, what you're working on. But you'll interact with people in preclinical, in safety, and marketing, and you really get a feel for all the different aspects of drug development. I'm really excited to say that this year we have a number of fellowships that we're offering in regulatory affairs. So Bayer, Bristol, Sanofi, Roche, J&J, and Novartis. And the next topic I'm going to cover is drug safety. So as pharmacists, we can all appreciate the importance of drug safety. So in pharmacy school, we learn a lot about the safety characteristics of drugs that we learn about and the classes, so adverse events, warnings, precautions, and so forth. So pharmacists in industry, they're the ones who really, I guess, come up with the safety profile. They're the one who characterize what it is that we need to watch out for, what it is that patients and prescribers need to be aware of. So They're really key in developing the risk-benefit analysis of drugs in terms of safety. There are a number of different activities that an individual or fellow who's working in the drug safety department may be involved in. So this may be looking at individual case reports and analyzing what happened there. It could be looking for trends amongst many different case reports and over the development of the drug, and then even after the drug is on the market, seeing if there's any signals or safety trends that are coming up. Then also, they may be involved in risk evaluation mitigation strategies or risk management plans. So if you know of a risk already for a drug, then a safety individual may be involved with coming up with measures to minimize those risks. So this year, the following 3 companies are offering fellowships in drug safety, and that's Bayer, Merck, and Sanofi.